Hey guys, I have props. I almost never have props, so give me a break. I'm going to talk about, I guess, some of the things that we had to put up with back in the olden days, especially like in the more rural, non-urban areas. And that was cue balls that didn't match the object balls on purpose for the coin ops to work. Nowadays, everybody's spoiled. Even the bar boxes, the newer bar boxes, they just go by the color of the ball, not the weight or not the size. Now, back in the olden days, we used to have to do with weight and or size. So this ball here is very yellowed, but this is an oversized cue ball. This is very common. Well, really every place I ever went, that it was a bar. They had bar boxes up until the late '90s. I would say that's pretty much when I stopped playing bars and leagues and stuff like that. But this ball, I don't know. It's not as bad as you might at first think. I'll put in a little clip of how oversized it is. It's not that instead of 2 1/4, it might be like 2 3/8. It's not ridiculous. It does look, it does look pretty big. When you get lined up for it, if you're used to playing with a regular bar, like, whoa, what the hell is that? It's not that bad. There are some problems with it, and I'll get to those. But first, I just want to just weigh it. So let's weigh. This is just a regular musical ball. This is going to be about 6.9 ounces, I think. Or 5.9 ounces, sorry. 5.912. Pretty much normal. I'd imagine all of the balls, this is a decent set of balls, are going to be pretty similar. 5.913. Okay. This is the oversized ball. 6.624. So heavier, not ridiculous. Bigger, I don't think completely ridiculous. Now this ball is a mud ball. It is the same size as regular balls, but it's heavier. .9 ounces. Actually, not as heavy as I thought it was going to be. But I'm not going to use it because it is the same size. The oversized ball and the overweight ball have some of the same problems. Let me put my prop up. And again, you get used to it and you deal with whatever you're going to deal with, and play the hand that's dealt you and all that. And that's what we did. And up until the late '90s, when I stopped being involved with the pool league, I still had people tell me this is the correct cue ball, the oversized ball. That's the correct cue ball. And that's because that's what they've been playing with for 50 years. Playing in some bar or whatever with bar boxes, coin op stuff. They'd never seen a cue ball that was the same size as the object balls. They were wrong, but for their time, they probably weren't wrong. So it's a little bit bigger. It's going to mess up some of the angles. Some of the aiming at contact points stuff, like the beginner system I talked about recently, it's going to break down more quickly because the ball is larger. The big thing to me about this ball and the overweight ball is just what you can do with the cue ball. It's harder to get draw. It's harder to get draw with the balls that are heavier. The tangent lines change. You can still get draw, just not as much. The tangent lines change. Instead of, if I shoot this 15, instead of this tangent line going like that, if I shoot a stop shot into this 15, instead of the tangent line going like that, is going to push forward. Hang on, I have to answer my phone. Sorry, that was work interrupting my recreation. Shocking, I know. What was I talking about? Oh, just the tangent line. The cue ball, in this case, cut to 15 on my right, is not going to go along that same tangent line with a stop shot. I can make it go along that same tangent line. Just have to put a little bit more bottom on it. And a lot of times, in like the heat of the moment, I would forget. People will forget. They're used to playing with a ball that's the same size and the same weight as the cue ball. And all of a sudden they're not. You can forget. Draw shots, they can absolutely be done with an oversized ball. Absolutely be done. I think the material is exactly the same as the other stuff. Now, I don't have the world's greatest draw stroke. Can you tell that I don't have the world's greatest draw stroke? That's embarrassing, damn it. That's okay. Used to be a saying, chalk's free. Not anymore. This is $20. But you used to still use it. That's my pro tip for the day, although I'm not a pro either. Anyway, it can still happen. I think what I always had to do with, if I wanted to draw the ball, is just you have to draw it more. I have to try to draw it more to be able to get the same amount that I would get with the regular ball. Wasn't that huge of a deal. Now, the mud ball that I had up before, that is a different material. And I don't know if it's a rougher material or what. And clearly the weight wasn't that different. It's still overweight. But the size was the same. I guess the cloth too. There were a lot of the places that we played in back then. Of course, they didn't have Samonas. I don't think Samonas had made it across the pond to the United States yet. At least not on bar boxes. We used, I think it was just mallee cloth. And there were a couple places I played where drawing the ball was just wasn't going to happen. You could get a stop shot if you had a world-class stroke. Drawing the ball, no, it just wasn't going to happen. At least not for us league guys. The material was different. But for this oversized, it wasn't that big of a deal. You just had to remember. You just had to remember that tangent line is not where you're used to it being. If you got a breakout, if I want to shoot this 3 in the corner and break out these two balls, with a regular ball, I know how to do that. But with this oversized stuff, I have a danger of pushing forward and missing that cluster. So just have to remember. Just have to remember to do it. That's all that I ever really had to do. Just remember, hey, there's a difference. Again, I guess it helped that I played with the oversized cue ball a lot. And in league, you go to different bars, and some bars would have a real cue ball, some balls would have oversized, some balls would have an overweight cue ball, which is that one. A lot of bars, in Seattle especially, had what we call a plug ball, which was magnetic. The coin or the ball return mechanism was magnetic. And we called it a plug ball, but it wasn't a plug. There was a little metal cage inside the ball that reacted to magnetism. And the reason I know that is because one of my friends up there, I think it was Leroy, if you're watching, hi, broke the cue ball, knocked the cue ball off the rail, off the table, into like a cue rack or something, and knocked a chip out of it. And you can see it was a cage. Anyway, those were fine. They were the same size and the same weight as a regular ball, as long as that cage was centered correctly. If it wasn't, then it became one of those crazy cue balls that went wherever it felt like going. That was pretty comical at times. The other thing that comes up just with the oversized ball, not with the overweight ball, are shots down the rail. Not as big of a deal on a bar box, but absolutely can be. The conventional wisdom has taught to the newer players to make this 10 down this rail, you have to hit the rail and the 10 at the same time. That is not true but that works most of the time. The truth is you want to hit the rail a little bit before. So as the cue ball compresses the rail on the way in, this is an exaggeration, it actually cuts the tin a little bit that way, but the contact induced throw, the cut induced throw, throws it back towards the pocket. If that makes any sense. Now on a table or on a setup like this, you have to do the same thing. You have to hit the rail a little bit before the object ball, but a little bit more before than you would with a regular size cue ball. And I think, for me, it was just remember that there is an issue. I think I just missed that one because I missed it. I don't think I missed that one because I didn't hit the rail soon enough. I may have been afraid of this point. But you never know. For the most part, especially on a bar box, you could kind of just shoot it. Yeah, maybe not. So I'm going to blame the oversized cue ball for both times I missed that shot. So not my fault. It's the ball. First time I played this thing in 15 years, I bet. Okay. Hit that rail just a little bit before. So I'm not aiming at a spot on the rail. Basically, instead of aiming to hit the tin and the rail first, which I can kind of see, just go a little bit further to my right in that case. That's what I'm kind of doing. Okay, so a ball can't be made. It can, it really can. I'm just not doing it right now. With a regular size cue ball, just overweight, like the mud ball I was talking about, that's not really an issue except for the increased friction I was talking about. That could be a problem. So, some of those little bars and stuff, they just had, they had good equipment for what they were, but not good equipment. It's certainly not by any standards that you might use today. It's amazing how much pool players have had to put up with over the years, and how good that they've shot over the years, despite having to put up with oversized balls and overweight balls and those plug balls that might be, off center and stuff like that. But we put up with it because we love the game. I had a shot like this. That's one I just shot. That's apparently made a little bit tougher because of the oversized ball. And I needed to draw back to here. It wouldn't scare me away from shooting the shot, but this would be a lot tougher with this ball than with a regular ball. With a regular ball, just shoot it and draw back. But with this ball, now you got to make the 9, and all of a sudden making the 9 is not automatic. And all of a sudden drawing back is not as effortless as it would be with the other balls. So it can be a little bit scary and affect the attitude and the confidence of going into the shot. It can do these things. And I would imagine most of the people watching this video aren't going to have to worry about this. You're not going to go into a place that has an oversized cue ball or a mud ball or a plug ball. You might, but I would imagine that most of the people watching this have electricity and all that stuff. And last time I saw an oversized cue ball in public was on an old abandoned bar that wasn't in use anymore, and there were a bunch of boxes and other crap piled on top of the table. It was just used for storage. I had this, and I had that other one because I used to play League in different bars all the time. And if I knew I was going to play in a place with an oversized cue ball, like Tuesday night, my league's going to be in a place with an oversized cue ball. Then starting Sunday or so, I grab my oversized cue ball, take it to the pool hall if I didn't have a pool table in my house, and practice on it. I can't 100% say it helped. I was shooting pretty good back then anyway, but I can say it didn't hurt. It was always nice to have a little bit of differences, little little bit of difference, just to so I don't get too complacent on always having the same equipment all the time, all the time, all the time. Even to this day, I don't adjust to equipment changes very well. I was much better back then because of league and because of having different cue balls and practicing with them and all that. Nowadays, I'm not that good at it. The other thing I want to say was about this ball and about the overweight cue ball is there was a guy in Seattle, especially. A lot of the old timers that I knew, they grew up playing with this, with the oversized ball, and they were very, very good at it. And they had learned, especially this guy I'm thinking about in Seattle, don't even bother trying to draw the cue ball. He would shoot with follow, or at least a rolling ball on almost every shot. And he could plan out, he was a seven, he was a good player. Uh, but he would never use draw and almost never even use a stop shot. He planned out his routes to where a rolling ball would get it. He would get the proper angle, so a rolling ball would get into the next one and give him that proper. It was a beautiful thing to watch, is what it was. And I really think that's a skill that's kind of lost nowadays. And sometimes I miss it. I miss somebody just playing that simply. Rolling ball, rolling ball, rolling ball, watching their angles. Not always having to manipulate the cue ball to get back into line and things like that. That's a different skill. The skill that this guy Chuck I talked about in Seattle, it's almost a lost skill. It was really, really beautiful to watch. I guess that's it. I'm going to stop rambling now. I got to edit out all the footage of me getting the phone call from work. That'll be fun. Thanks, guys.